Ray lived in the city. Not Ray as in Ray, but Ray as in ray of light. They worked in the city, their whole life was there. Friends, community, the hustle and bustle of city life. Life in the city was full on. There was always so much happening. Ray struggled at times to find peace, but once in a while, they ventured out and up into the mountains. They would journey up north, stay in a small village, and walk in the big hills. And that's what Ray did one week in winter. On that day, Ray had set off on a mountain trail, a trail they had done many times before. The sky was clear, the air crisp on a beautiful winter's morning. They hiked up hundreds of meters to the summit of the mountain. The hike was rejuvenating to Ray. Every breath, every view, every step soothed the soul. After a brief pause on the summit, Ray started the journey back down, back towards the village as the day headed towards afternoon. On reaching lower ground, Ray came to a junction on the trail, one that Ray did not seem to remember. Both ways looked worn and well trodden, one to the left and one to the right. To the right, Ray seemed to remember that was the way back to the village, but about the path to the left, Ray was unsure where it led, and yet it seemed familiar. And so stepped onto the left-hand path, familiar yet unsure where it might lead. Walking for a few hundred meters through what looked like an old slate mine with slate underfoot, the path curved around the side of a hill. After a short while, Ray saw a small cottage off in the distance. As Ray neared the cottage, smoke curling from its chimney into the mid-afternoon sky, Ray could hear someone whistling, someone at work, a knocking and a tapping of a hammer gently on wood. Again, Ray had that familiar feeling that he might have been here before, and yet he could not remember when. As Ray approached the cottage, the smell of the wood fire was inviting. Then, from just behind him, a gentle voice warmly greeted him. "Well, hello. How are you today?" "Good," replied Ray. "Very good, thank you." "Won't you come in? Warm yourself by the fire." "I will," replied Ray. Ray entered the small cottage. It was quaint, neat, warm and cosy. Again, Ray had that feeling about the place, familiar, and yet from when? Ray was offered a seat at an old wooden table beside the fire. This place was warm compared to the cooling afternoon outside on the low hills under the mountain. Ray could see from where he was sitting through a small window a beautiful view that stretched out onto the valley and across the lake. "How are you, Ray?" Ray looked across the table. "You know my name?" "Yes, Ray, I know you well," came the reply. The room seemed to grow bigger as the conversation started. Ray looked around, but nothing seemed to have changed. It was just a feeling that the world got a little larger, a little more spacious, a bit more open. As he looked again around the warm cottage interior, he noticed the tools of a carpenter, a maker, someone who created beauty, who loved their work. Ray looked across the table and asked, "What is your name?" "My name," came a warm, soft reply. "My name is Light." Ray looked into the eyes of his host, and they began a long, deep discussion. They moved from the table to two cozy chairs closer to the fire. Ray quizzed his host further. "This place is familiar to me. You are familiar to me, but I don't know from where or when. I've walked this mountain trail many times, but I do not remember this path, and I do not remember this cottage." "I've always been here," came the reply. "You just needed to discover me." Ray came back to that hillside cottage many times. Each time it really did grow larger, more rooms with more space for more discussions, by the fire in winter and overlooking the lake in summer. In the end, Ray was given a room, and on the door of that room it said these words, "Ray of Light."